Hello dear viewers and welcome back to our channel, the place where we always pull back the velvet curtains on the world of royalty, reveal hidden nuances, and explore how even the tiniest details can stir enormous waves. Today we have a story that's proving just how closely the world watches every breath, every glance, and yes, every tiny painted fingernail of the British royal family. Because what made more headlines than the actual Wimbledon trophies this year was an absolutely fleeting moment involving Princess Charlotte. And it's this moment, innocent yet packed with subtle meaning, that we're about to unpack together. But first, if you find yourself coming back to us for these deep dives into royal tradition, intrigue, and modern transformation, please show your support by liking this video. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon so you'll never miss when we drop the next twist in the royal saga. Your support truly means the world and keeps us digging up the most fascinating stories from behind palace gates. Now, picture it. Wimbledon, that green cathedral of tennis, alive with polite applause and tension so thick you could slice it. Center court buzzing, celebrities and politicians nestled among the stands, but all eyes inevitably drift toward the royal box. It's not just about who's playing, it's about who's watching. For over a century, this patch of carefully trimmed grass has been as much about royal ritual as about aces and match points. So when the cameras zoomed in to capture the Prince and Princess of Wales with their children, there was a collective intake of breath. William and Kate, effortlessly polished. George, serious and thoughtful beyond his years. And Charlotte, luminous, curious, still with that glint of playful mischief. They were a tableau of continuity, seated right where generations before them sat, from Queen Mary in the 1920s to Princess Diana flashing shy smiles in the 80s. But that's where the script took a tiny, unscripted turn. Because as the match reached a nail-biting crescendo, Charlotte did what so many of us do without thinking. She lifted her hands to her face, eyes wide with suspense, mouth partly covered in surprise. Only unlike the rest of us, her small hands were framed by thousands of lenses. And in that instant, the entire world caught sight of her delicate baby pink nail polish, gleaming gently in the London sun. Now to any average family, this wouldn't even merit a comment. A 10-year-old girl wears pink nail polish, how utterly ordinary. But for the House of Windsor, this is where centuries of symbolism come cascading in. Because for decades under Queen Elizabeth II, royal women were the embodiment of understated elegance. The late Queen famously preferred, almost demanded by sheer force of example, that nails remain neutral, practically invisible. Her personal go-to? That now mythic shade, ballet slippers by Essie, so faint it was nearly a whisper of pink. It wasn't law, but it might as well have been gospel. So to see Princess Charlotte, fourth in line to the throne, her tiny nails a playful pink, was a small but striking visual departure. And that's exactly why it ricocheted across headlines, social media posts, and spirited debates on morning talk shows. Was it a sweet, modern evolution, or a tiny chip in the fortress of tradition? Royal watchers immediately drew parallels to past generations. Under Elizabeth, the watchword was restraint. Even Princess Diana, despite her trailblazing modern approach to connecting with the public, largely adhered to subtle nail palettes during formal duties. And later, Kate herself became synonymous with a kind of disciplined grace, dresses elegant but never flashy, accessories tastefully curated, nails almost always nude or sheer. But here was Charlotte, quite literally adding her own color. Was it a mother's gentle nod to letting her daughter experience joy on a special day? A private decision between Kate and Charlotte, allowing a bit of individuality? Or something deeper, a whisper that this generation might blend centuries-old etiquette with a touch more humanity and spontaneity? Because if you think about it, the monarchy's survival has always hinged on precisely that, adapting just enough to remain beloved without losing its aura of timelessness. The pink polish on Charlotte's nails could, to the untrained eye, seem meaningless. But to anyone steeped in the coded language of royal optics, it was a delicate crack in an old mold. A sign that perhaps the next chapter of the monarchy will hold space for small personal freedoms, even under the harshest of spotlights. What made this even more fascinating was the way the moment dominated social channels. The clip of Charlotte's hands half covering her face went viral within hours, with commentators from New York to Sydney weighing in on whether it was charmingly relatable or subtly disrespectful. Royal Twitter, or X, as we must now call it, was ablaze with screenshots, playful jokes and earnest think pieces. Some praised Kate for letting her daughter have a bit of innocent fun. Others fretted that tradition was slipping, that if even these tiny customs could be overlooked, what next? Meanwhile, British tabloids ran breathless side-by-side comparisons, Queen Elizabeth's flawless neutral nails versus Charlotte's playful pink. They cited unnamed palace insiders who either shrugged it off as a sweet choice for a child or hinted it could foreshadow a softer, more personal approach to protocol in the future. Royal etiquette experts popped up on breakfast shows explaining that there is, in fact, no hard rule against coloured Polish, it's simply understood. Which somehow only made it more tantalizing. Because what's more intriguing than an unwritten rule that might just have been gently, happily ignored? And what of Kate in all this? Observers noted her calm, composed demeanor throughout. No anxious glances at Charlotte's hands, no subtle repositioning to hide them from the cameras. It was as if she, more than anyone, understood this was perfectly all right, a small rebellion that wasn't rebellion at all, but a natural, human moment. A little girl being allowed to be just that, even while sitting at the very center of centuries of tradition. Some royal historians even drew parallels to Queen Elizabeth herself as a young girl. Before she became the icon of stoic, neutral decorum, Elizabeth was once just Lilibet, playing with ponies at Windsor, giggling with Margaret over small mischiefs. In Charlotte's moment of innocent excitement and tiny pink nails, we perhaps saw the same humanity, a reminder that behind every future monarch is first a child, learning the world on their own terms. And what does this mean going forward? It's tempting to overanalyze, to declare this the start of a bright new era where the monarchy sheds its more stifling traditions. More likely, it's a gentle sign that while certain forms endure, the tiaras, the balcony appearances, the carefully choreographed state dinners, there's now space for a little more personality, even from the youngest Windsors. Because ultimately, the monarchy's magic has always been attention, the almost mythical weight of its history set against the very real human stories of the people who bear the crowns. A 10-year-old giggling over a tennis rally, forgetting for a heartbeat the cameras aimed at her, is as much a part of that story as any coronation. So what about you? Does Charlotte's tiny splash of pink delight you, a fresh breath in a sometimes too stiff institution? Or do you find yourself worried that even these subtle traditions, honed over generations, could slip too far? We'd absolutely love to know your take. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspectives are what keep this channel alive, vibrant, and as curious as ever. And of course, if you enjoyed this exploration into how even the most fleeting detail can reveal profound shifts within the royal family, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe for more stories where tiaras meet humanity, and we'll be right here, ready to dive into the next moment that sets the palace and all of us watching, quietly buzzing. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to uncovering more with you very soon.